Hello, this is Jen Steed, and I am here to share with you a flip through of the first 3 months of my Happy Planner Big Wellness Planner. This was kind of an impulse purchase this summer when the kids were at Vacation Bible School, to be perfectly honest. I had no idea what I would use it for, but the cover is gorgeous. Look at that foil. Anyway, and I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with it. I knew I was going to do Camp Reset this summer, and so I was going to be working on wellness things, and I knew I was running out of space in my fitness planner, and I would be out of space in that starting August. So I bought this, and this is the first 3 months using this, and it's kind of evolving since I started. So, August, my kids' pictures. So, this is my August spread, and one of my favorite things about that I've started doing in my fitness planner, and then I moved it over to this, is kind of a summary of how good I've been about moving on purpose, because I've really had some honestly fairly vague health problems. I go to the doctor and they're like, oh, well, your everything looks great, which just goes to show that you can't measure everything. And so what I've been doing is I've been tracking with a little walk sticker anytime I go out for a walk, outside for a walk on purpose, or now that it's winter, it'll be, inside for the purpose of walking. I mark with little once more with love munchkins anytime I do weight training. And I was really excited because in August, it's the first time I've been able to do weight training without actually making me worse health-wise for probably about 5 or 6 years. So I'm really excited to be able to do that again without really killing myself. And so I really like having the step goals and then see how often I walk on purpose. Anytime I do over 10,000, I use one of the step stickers, because honestly speaking, it doesn't happen that often. And there was one other thing. Oh, and in my old fitness planner, I was putting like a square around days where I'd met my goal with a highlighter, and I haven't done that in here, partially because I don't know, I just haven't, because I haven't cared, because my goal is more of an average than a steps per day thing. In September, this at a glance does a really good job of showing that I really didn't do a great job of exercising on purpose. Here, my son, this afternoon, my son hurt himself and we ended up taking him to the ER. And, nothing was broken. There were no stitches, but he had some really severe bruising and he didn't do much walking for most of that week. So if I can't take him with me, I can't go. And, he's 5.5. He's too big for a stroller, and he's a boy. He's not going to want a stroller anyway. So that week was shot. And then this week I painted my house. So I was doing painting this week, and I didn't do any, on purpose exercise there because that was pretty much enough. But this was a really good glance of, oh yeah, I didn't do too much on purpose there, did I? And then, life changed and I was able to do more, and there's a lot of walking, but there's some yoga, but there's not a lot of weight training. I just didn't get to do as much of it as I wanted. But I really like having these things on the monthly spread because then I can kind of see at a glance, like, oh yeah, last month felt kind of meh. Oh look, and it is kind of meh. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing with my monthly spreads, and I really like doing that, and I'll probably continue doing that. And then, like I said, I was moving from the fitness planner, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my spreads. And you can pretty much tell that through July and August. In August, if I did a workout, I'd put in a workout sticker. I'd maybe do some summary. I'd track some water. If I had anything health-wise to note, I would put it in here. Something like I napped, I will put that in because I am not a big napper. I actually don't like napping during the day. And so if, I find that I have a habit of napping, then that's kind of an indicator to me that either I'm not sleeping well enough, or or I'm doing too much, or, various things. Also up here, I track my cycle because my cycles are completely wonky, and I've got lots of issues both with my cycle and related to fertility, and we probably shouldn't have any more due to just how fragile my health has been over the last couple of years. And so I really have to track fertility and temperature and all the things, and then we use the ovulation predictor things also. So we do all the things, and so I track all those things up top, and then exercises, and there I was chilled and sick, and I was in bed at 6:30, and like, what's up with that? And then some weird stuff that was going on, and I think it might have actually been candida die-off, because really irritable, suspecting that maybe there's a pituitary problem, so I had some essential oils for that. I was tracking water, and just gotten done talking to the doctor. So I really, when I go through this, the top part is like fertility and exercise, and then I generally don't track diet all that much because I know what makes me feel good and I know what doesn't. And generally speaking, if I've eaten something that makes me feel yucky, I know exactly what I've eaten that's made me feel yucky because I did it on purpose because I really wanted it, or we went out and it was really hard to avoid. So I would note anything I was trying to improve my health and whether it worked or not. I was messing with some FODMAP stuff. And so I was working on that. And so I really wasn't, and I was completely not utilizing this bottom portion. I really didn't know what to do. I didn't want to really do this journaling stuff in here. I didn't really feel like tracking meals. I wasn't exactly, and I didn't do anything with that. And I started monthly meal planning again in September, and that's so helpful to making sure that I actually have good food. And again, my monthly calendar, 2 days with 10,000 plus steps in September. 10,000 steps is not my goal. This was a fairly low-key week. There was nothing much going on. I didn't really have anything to note, and usually no news is generally good news. And again, another week of, mostly no news is good news. And so if you notice here, the driving, digestion poor, is it that time? Yeah, it kind of is that time because I started about 2 days later, and that was a particularly terrible period. They've been getting worse and worse, and so I kind of track, and knowing all those things helps me tell when I'm going to be starting soon, and it all seems to be tied together, and I'm hoping to try to be able to, I track all this to hope to try to find some patterns and be able to level stuff out and try to find a way to fix some of them. And then in October, I decided to make a little change, and I decided that I was going to do all fertility stuff up here. So here's all the tracking and stuff, and then here's any notes about, mood or anything that I think is fertility related. And then anything here is exercise. And then here would be, water and, other health notes. And I do, check my weight. Occasionally I started doing this. And so I've got some notes. Had some potato starch contamination. I can't eat nightshades. It's one of the things I found out when I did an IAP elimination. And it's really hard to avoid potato starch. Like, it's easier to avoid wheat, but potato starch is in everything that is gluten-free. So if you're not eating wheat and you can't eat potato starch, you really have to read labels, and you almost have to read them every time you buy something, because if you don't, they will change the recipes on you because potato starch is cheap and easy.